Assassin's Creed Unity. It had some problems, that is for sure. One of my biggest gripes for the game is the amount of bugs and glitches in the game, and on top of that, the AI. I mean, you want to talk about brain dead AI, this game is almost the pinnacle of stupid AI. I mean, a lot of Assassin's Creed games, they kind of have some dumb AI, like sometimes you're like, how do you not see me? I'm like, you do something, it's like they don't see you, but they're kind of looking at you, or you're in like some obvious position and they just don't see you. But in this Assassin's Creed game, it has to be some of the dumbest AI I think I've ever seen.
Well, you paid.
But you know, enough of that. Let's talk about what I think this game does very well, which is quite a bit actually, more than you might think, maybe, possibly, depending on your opinion of Assassin's Creed Unity. But my main thing with this game is when this game works properly, it's actually a decent game and it's pretty fun, but there's always some sort of glitch or bug, it seems, around every corner that just, you know, ruins the experience.
Thinking stupid sense to do anything that might give even a grifter like me hope that someday, this city might not be a shitty place to live.
Assassin's Creed Unity came out November 11, 2014, and this game looks great, especially at 4K max settings. I mean, this game came out around 8 years ago, and this game still looks great. The city looks great. The details that this game has is fantastic. I especially like the interiors of the buildings, even though there's really not a whole lot of, you know, interior to look around and stuff. It's not like you can go in every building, but the interiors look fantastic in my opinion. In fact, I think it's still one of the best looking Assassin's Creed games to this day, but the problem with it is every other part of the game there are a ton of graphical glitches that just happen. I mean, in my 47 minutes of recording this game just for this video, and a few hours of playing this game again from the beginning recently, I've seen a lot of graphical glitches, so most of the time I think this game looks fantastic, but it's kind of held down by all the graphical bugs that there are in the game. So right now I'm going to show you an example clip. So there's this huge crowd just standing here, and I start turning around and looking around, and then whoop, would you look at that? People start randomly changing outfits and just randomly popping in right in front of me as I'm looking at them. Now take these two screenshots that I just took from the video. This guy has like some sort of black jacket uniform. I'm not really sure, it really doesn't matter, but he has this one uniform, and then all of a sudden his uniform switches to these white socks. And then we got an even better one. There's just nobody there, and then pop, she just blanks into existence, and then it's just like, hello, I want to be part of the crowd. And that just happens over and over again as I'm just looking at a crowd of people. The gameplay I also find to be fun. I actually really like the combat, and there's a ton of different weapons to use, each with their own combat animations. And the combat animations themselves are super smooth and looks good, at least most of the time, because again, animations also glitch out and you end up not even touching the enemy sometimes and just stabbing the air, but most of the time they look cool and they feel cool, and they're just, I don't know, it's just, the combat is just so much fun. But when everything works properly, the combat feels great, and there's a ton of different playstyles depending on the weapons, armors, and skills you choose. You can be more stealthy. If you want a more stealthy build, you'll get armor that increases your stealth and not pick like one of the big big weapons like a long spear or something. You'll maybe pick a sword, a minimal sword, and you'll mostly be focused on using your assassin's blade. And you can choose to get more melee damage and stealth. Your stealth will increase if you choose like the more stealthier armor, but you'll also get lower health. And if you don't want to be as tanky, you can go with that. But if you want to be tanky and you want to just like run in there and just fight everything and not really worry about stealth that much, you can get armors that give you more health and increase melee damage but make you less stealthy, to where if you try to sneak around, you're not really going to be that, you're going to be noticed more often. You can also use swords, spears, maces, pistols, rifles to build the type of character you want. And yes, rifles. It's like one of the few Assassin's Creed games where you can use rifles more than like once. Like in Assassin's Creed 3, I'm pretty sure you can pick up, I haven't played that game in a while, but I'm pretty sure you can pick up a rifle and use it. But in this game, you can actually equip the rifle and it be one of your main weapons. Also, I think this game is when Assassin's Creed really started turning into the RPG style game that it is today, with all the leveling abilities and all the other RPG elements that the newer games have today. But I mean, some of the previous games like Assassin's Creed 4 and Brotherhood kind of had some of the elements, but not to the extent that Unity has and the newer RPG Assassin's Creed games like Origins, Odyssey, and Valhalla. And honestly, I think this game would have received better reviews and scores if they just spent more time on the game and didn't release it when they released it, and ironed out all the bugs and glitches that plagued the game, and spent more time working on the AI and making sure that they're just not walking in place or T-posing, or just their clothes keep changing rapidly as they're walking down the street. I mean, I just think it would have ended up differently and more people would have given it, a better chance or something, instead of just saying it's one of the worst Assassin's Creed games. Because I think Assassin's Creed Unity is better than Syndicate. I think Assassin's Creed Unity is better than Assassin's Creed Syndicate, and I actually think Syndicate might be my least favorite Assassin's Creed out of the main games, next to Valhalla. Valhalla and Syndicate are like my least favorite Assassin's Creed games, as I found both of those games a bit boring and not that great. At least when I played them at release. I haven't played either one of those games since they released, and I might never play them again. Overall, I think Assassin's Creed Unity isn't that bad when it comes down to the gameplay and graphics themselves. Unfortunately, the graphics and the gameplay was ruined by all the bugs and glitches that it had upon release. Now, while I know some of those glitches and bugs have been fixed since the release of the game, there are still a lot of bugs and glitches in the game that unfortunately still can ruin the experience while you're playing the game, though not as bad as it was when it released. They still are kind of bad, as you see with the crowd just changing clothes all over the place, the stabbing enemies but you're actually stabbing the air, and just stuff like that. It's like little things like that just happen so often and all over the place. I even got an NPC that was T-posing near a building once, so it's just like none of them that I've encountered so far are game breaking, but they're just small things that ruin the details of the game and just ruin the immersion and experience to make it a worse experience. Now, while I think also co-op didn't live up to the full potential that everyone thought it was going to be, I think this could have been a great game and a great experience if only they would have spent more time on this game, getting this game to its fullest potential. Anyways, that's going to be it for this video, so I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, make sure to hit that like button, leave a comment below, tell me what you guys think about Assassin's Creed Unity, and if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button because you want to be subscribed, and I'll see you guys next time.